What made you walk out of a date? I met a girl online, smoking hot. She was interested in me, but we didn't have a lot in common. She totally had the me vibe, so I agreed to meet up. He wanted to go to dinner at a pretty upscale, swanky place, so I made reservations. Met up with her and she never put her phone down, but did order the most expensive wine, appetizer and seafood platter. I kinda got the hint that I was just there to pay for her dinner, so I excused myself to the restroom, caught my waiter and paid for my meal, plus tip. Then I left her at the table, blocked her on my phone and social media. I'm not a meal ticket, I'm a person.
What is a creepy story you haven't told many people? There's a large windmill along the river in Mom's hometown that was once used to pump water. The windmill house had been locked and the mechanism shut down when it was no longer needed for pumping. As I once described, people would gather there at night to hang out. The creepy part was that although the enormous blades hadn't rotated in several years, they'd suddenly start churning in the darkness, even though the air was still. The blades were never seen rotating during the day or during windy conditions, just randomly at night, when the air was still. It was eerie in the moonlight to see the blades casting long shadows on those gathered near the mill.
What's a funny story you want to share? We went to a superhero party. I was dressed as the Green Lantern. My buddy was Orgasmo from that comedy. He had a super soaker full of tequila. Dozens of people dressed up and lots of alcohol. As the party went on, I became very drunk and stupid. I guess I decided to do a flying leap off the deck railing and tackled my buddy. We proceeded to wrestle in the yard. I twisted him into a pretzel until people started to yell about the blood. I had ripped a big skin flap open on the back of my head. I was bleeding all over. So Wonder Woman, a Powerpuff Girl, Superman, Orgasmo, and Bloody Green Lantern went to get me stitches. As we walked into the hospital, the nurse says, Green Lantern, what happened? It turns out the hospital was too busy to treat me right away, so we left and went to the drugstore. They bandaged my head, then we went to the bar. People thought I was covered in fake blood. I got a lot of compliments. As the night wore on, my buddy and I met some ladies. They agreed to come back to our place and hang out. Eventually I showed them that my head wound was real and they ran out the door so fast. My friends think this story is funny, but I admit it is kind of gross.
What is your creepiest ghost story? I didn't know this until my parents told me. My aunt's husband died in an accident. At that time I was still in my mom's womb. And then my cousin, which is my aunt's son, lived in our house, and I was like 5 years old at that time. I told my parents that I am sleepy, and I went to my room. They are in the living room with my cousin watching some TV shows. 1 hour had passed. I came back and told my parents that I saw my cousin's dad staring at the window, and I described him as wearing white, and spilled something red on his shirt, which is technically a blood. They're starting to panic because I don't know what he looks like. I have no idea who he is, and never told me about my cousin's dad or anything, especially his cause of death. And the other day they gave me a group photo and point out who was the person that I saw that night, and I pointed exactly my cousin's dad. I can't really remember if it actually happened, and I was in high school when they told me this horrifying experience.